You're aware that Sam Bankman-Fried was just detained in the Bahamas. Between $8 and $10 billion have vanished from FTX. But in the end, he admitted to fraud and said that he had misused consumer money. He revealed where every penny went. Yet, why? Why at this particular time? And how did he become imprisoned? I am aware that you have numerous inquiries, but to address those, we must first go back in time. I'm going to demonstrate how egregiously bad SBF's financial management of FTX was. How everything culminated in a string of crypto crashes, including Luna. And finally, on how he actually ended up in jail.
Mr. President, while the members of the Senate were enjoying Thanksgiving, thousands of hardworking Americans were navigating the wreckage of a financial shipwreck. I'm referring to the collapse of the cryptocurrency exchange known as FTX.
He had bought some well-known crypto enterprises just 2 months prior and bailed them out. Now FTX appears to be a very prosperous business. However, the truth was that it was bankrupt. This story has an odd quality to it. It's not about volatility or risk-taking by investors, but rather the out-of-control quantity of fraud that is currently occurring. Money from customers has disappeared that is worth at least $1 billion. The reputation of every banker has recently declined more quickly than anyone else due to the startling disparity between appearance and actuality. Judges, attorneys, and regulators were all gathered around FTX. There were already legal actions and the possibility of jail time for all parties involved.
$1 billion that seemed to have been moved out of the exchange into his personal accounts. Like, you don't need a whole lot more evidence than that. But I'm not a prosecutor, and you know, he will be investigated, he will be prosecuted, and if the facts turn out the way I expect them to, he will spend time in jail.
He's absolutely an out-and-out criminal. You know, my question is why the Singapore government haven't put out a warrant for his arrest, given $275 million of the taxpayers' money went in what is clearly an out-and-out fraud.
Sam Bankman-Fried allegedly started moving or lending billions of dollars from FTX customer money to Alameda Research, which sustained significant losses as a result of rash trading. In order to secure the loans, Alameda pledged FTX tokens or FTT. This was a problem since FTX tokens were closely linked to the performance of FTX and were not widely traded outside of the FTX ecosystem. A few weeks ago, FTX claimed that the value of its tokens was roughly $5.55 billion. However, the true worth might have only been in the millions, with less than $1 million in liquid assets. Even an experienced insolvency specialist like John Ray, who managed the infamous Enron bankruptcy, is unable to handle the FTX case. However, the crucial query is, where did all the money go? Nobody is certain, but it is a significant amount of money, nearly $10 billion, that has vanished. One of the largest thefts of client monies in recorded history, I think. What about whistleblowers? Why weren't attorneys, accountants, or workers alerted? It's because SBF is said to have created a unique proprietary accounting system to conceal all of the missing assets. But even before the collapse, some skeptics were pointing out SBF and FTX's unethical behavior. One of them is the seasoned short seller Mark Cahotes. Mark forewarned everyone about the suspicious activity in October, 1 month before FTX truly collapsed. According to Mark, everything reads like this thing is a complete scam. Sam was firmly asserting that he had his side of the story despite all of the lies. I understand that this may be too much for you to process, but I have already seen all of his interviews, so you don't have to. Hence, this is my breakdown. First off, SBF says he is conducting these interviews because we deserve them. After going silent for weeks, you're finally giving your side of the story because you want to avoid going to jail. If it's true, only God knows. So let's see how it works. His words were, "I feel like you'll deserve to hear from me about what happened. I feel incredibly bad about it, and I feel like that's the least I can do. Give your consumers their money back. That's the least you can do. Don't post your pathetic, foolish face on the internet and apologize for your mistakes." I'm starting to hate it, guys. Let's start the video now, alright? Interestingly, looking back, we can see that those interviews weren't really beneficial to him, but later helped him in legal matters. He was caught and confessed, which assisted in his arrest. SBF has pretended that he wasn't aware of the impending collision. According to his tweet, a few weeks ago, FTX was handling $10 billion per day of volume and billions of transfers. But there was too much leverage, more than I realized, around the bank, and the market crash exhausted liquidity. Recently, he actively used the media to soften his image. He also used Twitter Spaces. There, he encountered the scam-exposing YouTuber CoffeeZilla. If Alameda had been a little more focused on what he was doing, according to Sam, he would have been able to understand his actions better. This ruse might work on the dregs of journalists, but not on my man CoffeeZilla. In the majority, if not all, of his interviews thus far, SBF has consistently denied any knowledge of the activities taking place at Alameda Research. To demonstrate SBF, CoffeeZilla withdrew Alameda Research after deliberately defrauding his clients from the image. CoffeeZilla then questioned Sam about how they handled client assets in comparison to margin trading, for the purpose of keeping customer money separate in the event of a crash, because FTX should keep it separate. A crash won't affect the cash of clients with various terms of service and risk tolerances. According to CoffeeZilla,
can you just tell us, yes or no, were you treating client assets just on the regular digital asset side different from the margin trading side?
I do think we were treating them differently. There were a bunch of different sides, or more than two sides there. But I do think that we were cognizant of the fact that there were differences between uses for margin versus staking versus spot versus futures collateral versus other things.
However, when asked why certain client assets weren't present, Bankman-Fried's tone completely changed. He said that the exchange treated them differently. SBF claimed there were still a few billions in the estate after the company processed $5 to $6 billion in withdrawals over the course of a few days during the meltdown. However, customers are unable to profit from declining currencies due to bankruptcy. He said that despite clients signing up for different risk levels and regardless of the type of transactions they conducted on FTX, all clients received the same quality of service. In a BBC interview on December 10th, SBF stated that he intended to launch a new business to pay back his clients. He also bravely said that he would give up everything to start a new company in order to regain the lost assets of his clients. But SBF was ultimately apprehended in the Bahamas on December 12th. SBF, according to a statement from the Bahamas government, was detained because of active criminal charges. The Southern District of New York, which is already investigating SBF, the demise of FTX, and Alameda Research, announced his arrest on Twitter. He still needs to be found guilty. This is not the end. We must hold out for that. Many lives have been damaged by this man's deceit, and at last he has been taken into custody. Not convicted, just arrested. Remember that he has a strong team fighting for him and that his parents are attorneys, so anything is possible. Will justice be served? Time alone will tell. Please give this video a like, a comment, and a share with your friends and others you think should learn more about it. Till the next time.